So my goal here is to share some of the basic steps I went through using HitFilm Express, free video editing software, to create this little phone choir. And this would apply to any project where you're really trying to put a bunch of videos together playing at the same time. And you can see I was able to add some text and arrange and size the videos in a way that I wanted to. Um, I organized them by part. So I did record myself singing the first verse of You Are My Sunshine 12 times, some different harmonies, and then I cut them all together so that
Dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I had.
so everything was lined up pretty nicely. You could hear the harmonies pretty nicely blended, so I adjusted some of the audio a little bit. But anyway, I'll show you some of the basic steps I went through to get to this point. So I'm just going to start a new project with the default settings. It definitely matters the hardware you have. I'm actually having some difficulty with exporting and even doing something that would make the preview videos flow better. Maybe you noticed when I played the video, the little individual videos themselves didn't move. You could hear the audio, but my computer's having a hard time processing all those videos. So, okay, well actually first really quick, this is the workspace I'm using, the compositing one, because that's what we're about to do. We're going to create a composite shot. And that's the simplest way to combine all of the videos and be able to make some basic adjustments to them. So yeah, like after I import all these files, you can see that I just have a folder that was full of these files, so I can select them all and open them. I can also drag and drop, but one of the things that would help, which I also can't do because something's wrong with my graphics card, if you pre-render everything, then you'll be able to see the preview a lot more clearly. It'll make the computer work less. Um, yeah, so now the thing is, I'm going to come down here to the bottom of this pane and actually create a new composite shot. And you see it actually shares the settings with the default settings with the project I just made. You can create composite shots other ways, but this is I think the cleanest, the smoothest. So now the idea is I want to import one of these videos, but what I'm not going to do is drag and drop the whole thing, which is possible, and so I just did that. Drag and drop the whole thing. I'm going to delete it. Instead, what I want to do is come over here to this trimmer pane, and I'm going to pick Use Audio. And so this is, one of my basic recommendations is to create or to have the student who's singing along. Let's say in this case, there's a choir and all the students are listening to a track and singing along, recording themselves video, whether that's coming on their phone or computer or whatever. So to have the track instruct the student to do something on time to make some kind of sound, a snap or a clap or something, because when you come and look at the waveform for this track, actually we can listen to it a little bit.
The other night,
So I actually
dear.
start singing the, but it's too quiet and it doesn't really even show up as a spike in the waveform. So if you make a loud sound, then let's just imagine that the loud sound is right here. Then what I would do is choose that right down here is this option of setting the in point. So after I've set the in point, when I drag and drop, and I'll just align it out here so I have this tail that I could change and edit. So basically the whole file is imported, except that now what's actually heard starts with the pink. It doesn't matter here because I didn't really align it, but see, you can imagine how that would really matter if you set your in point at the same spot in all the audio files that you get back. Then you can drop them. Let's say I put the playhead right over that edge, right over the end of that, right at the beginning of that file. And then I do the same thing I did with the next one. I'm going to use audio and I'll line it up, just imagining that that spike goes right there. Then I drag and drop. I can drop it to the same spot and it aligns it really nicely. It basically snaps to that point so that when you play back,
The other night.
they would be automatically aligned, whereas now I have to actually go through and more tediously align them all by listening to them. There may be some other layouts that I'm missing, like there could be maybe like an audio visualization down here somewhere, but I don't actually think so. Okay, so that would be something like, the process for aligning the audio. Now, how about the video? So in this case, these videos, they're too big and they're overlapping. One is directly on top of the other. And you can see that by dragging and dropping, you can change the order of which is on top, but you want to be able to see all of them, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll come in here and transform, and I'm going to drop this clip down to, let's say, the size 20%. So now I can move that. That's the size I want. So rather than adjusting in this way, I zoomed in and out just using my trackpad, like two finger swipes. So instead of doing it this way, so I'm holding shift, I'm dragging the corner down and trying to eyeball it. And instead what you can do is what I did to the first one and go into transform. Transform will deal with the shape, and you can see like the position and stuff, but I'm just going to type, what did I say, 20%. And so now it's the size I'd like. So you can also drop in text, as I showed before, and you can go in to its characteristics, which are in this little drop down menu. Um, you might want to change the scale, make it bigger, right? I'm sure there are lots of other options, the font and things like that you can mess with. But here's like maybe one more thing. Let's say you want to crop the videos. So what I've done is I've chosen the masking tool, and so now actually I need to have the thing selected that I want to crop. Let's say I want to make this video. Um, I want to make this video smaller. So see, I've gone up here to the selection tool. Then I'm going to change to the masking tool. This is a rectangular mask. And now when I draw a rectangle over the video, it introduces a mask into its characteristics. And then if I want to move the video, I go back to and select the video. Of course, go back to the selection tool, move it around, and take it where I want it. If I want to change the mask, then I select the mask, and now I can resize or move the mask. Anyway, so there's so many ways you'll be able to lay out and change these little bits that'll be on your main canvas here. And then finally, what you would do once everything is lined up, once it's all on the canvas in the way that you want it, you may need to go and edit the audio, and that will be a different process. But here in these settings, in the drop-down menu, you have the basics of, here's audio, the level. You can just make it louder or quieter. Let me resize this so you can see more of the timeline here. So that once you collapse all these, the videos come back together. But you see, they nicely will meet up with each other. The ends of them. Oh, by the way, again, just using the trackpad to zoom in and out. I chose a timeline that's way too long for the project. Is this a 30-second one? I don't remember. But anyway, you might want to move all the clips together like that. And let's say that you wanted to hear one clip or see one clip individually, then you would just come over here to these eyes, and it changes what you can hear and what you can see. Anyway, when you're happy with your project, then you would simply export it and choose a location, saving it untitled, and it already had some basic settings ready to go. So I had YouTube 1080p, and it's creating the file in the folder where I wanted it to go. So that's basically it. I'm sure there are a lot more details you'd be interested in, and we can work through those when you get to a point where you get stuck. But I think that's the general process. So Thanks for watching.